Hello again. I've found myself in plenty of holes during my time on Earth, and I'm not sure that I've climbed out of any of them on my own. I've been beyond fortunate to have people that care about me lend me a hand, or in some cases jump down into the hole with me because they've been down there before and they know the way out. At work, there are pitfalls everywhere you look, and it's our connections that form the recipe for resilience. My worry is that the data shows we've never been more disconnected. Research from Achievers Workforce Institute shows that employees feel disconnected from their manager, their colleagues, the values of their organization, and the resources they need to get work done every day. Connection is conditional, and it must be intentional. As leaders, we need to decide to make it easy for our people to access the people and skills and resources they need so they can be productive and positive from anywhere. We need to decide to make sure our folks are clear about what's expected of them at work and that they understand how the things they do today connect to the really big things the company is trying to achieve tomorrow. We need to decide to make it easier for them to exchange information and ideas with each other in a way that's frictionless and provides as little context switching as possible. The good news is that frequent recognition is the glue that cements all of these connections. When we commit to recognizing employees each month for the impact they're having in their role, we cement their connections to their mission, manager, and peers. AWI shows that with strong connections, employees are 5 times more engaged, 4 times more change ready, and twice as productive. While the world of work may be filled with hidden traps, the strength of our connections are critical to avoiding them or climbing out quickly. Welcome to A-Listed. Welcome to A-Listed, the show where every 2 weeks we talk about the science and the stories of appreciation at work. And I'm delighted to be joined in studio by Frauke Stoffel of 5 Star Bank. Welcome.
Thank you so much, David. I'm thrilled to be here.
Now, my first question is a hard-hitting question for you. And my question is, are we best friends?
If we're not, we totally should be.
I think we might be, because we broke bread about a year ago. It's the first time I had an opportunity to meet you. But I think since then, we've trauma bonded over the Buffalo Bills. We've talked about children. And I think we might be best friends.
I think we are. You know what? When we sat down to dinner and we just started gabbing like we hadn't seen each other in an hour instead of never met. I think we immediately bonded. And then, I channeled my inner David today with my glasses just for you.
We're going to swap at the end.
Oh, please do.
I think.
Yes.
You have an interesting job title. And you have an interesting portfolio at 5 Star Bank. And you have both culture and community in what you do. So talk to me a little bit about what you do and what 5 Star Bank does first.
So 5 Star is a long-standing, it's a little over 200 years old, community bank, and emphasis on the community. We're in a lot of rural communities across most of Western New York, so a good widespread area. And our focus is on our culture, which is supporting our community. So for us, being in the community, being part of making their big life decisions. So we're saving for our first house, or we're about to get married and have children. And so we're in those moments that matter, and we want to be there as their trusted support and help them achieve those goals and dreams that they have. So finding different ways to support our community in those dreams, but then in meeting them at their needs.
I love that. So many organizations have an aha moment where they eventually say, oh, if my employees are happy and engaged and satisfied in the work that they're doing, that will extend to our customers. But that's right in your remit. That's right what you do. So they were never separated for you. They're always tied together.
They're always tied together because, we're in those communities. We're serving our friends and our neighbors. So when they come into the branches, they're greeted by name. They may have had an account with us for 30 years. Maybe our name has changed over the years, but they've been with us a long time. They're family. And so that it matters what they do, and then our team matters to us. We get involved with new, different ways in our communities as our team members bring things to us. So we had somebody that we hired recently, and he's on the board of Make-A-Wish. And he said, can we get involved? And I said, what do we want to do? And so now we're involved with Make-A-Wish. So our employees are bringing their passions with them, and we're supporting those. So, which just turns around and supports our community. These are our friends and neighbors. We should be supporting them.
All of your employees are going through those same life moments as well.
Exactly.
And so having that sort of say yes culture, it must be so important to you.
You know what? It feeds itself. The more that we can support our team, the more they can support their friends and neighbors. And the more that we can become that integral part of day-to-day life in our communities.
Has this always been the way at Five Star during your tenure?
Oh, during my tenure, absolutely. In a 200-year history, a lot of things is going to change. But what hasn't changed is our locations. We're in those communities, and our focus has been supporting them.
So we celebrated Employee Appreciation Week and Day last week, and I'm keen to understand how you celebrated for your employees.
So for the first time, we used our Achievers platform. Our CEO wanted to send a message out to everyone and wanted it to have that sort of personal feel. We sent a message out to everybody, and people were tickled and surprised. They didn't know it was coming. So that was fun and new for us. I know we did social posts as well to send out, and I loved the images that we used of our team out in the community, supporting our community, where we're just saying, they're all smiling and having a wonderful time, and we're grateful for them. We emphasize that quite a bit. Our focus isn't on the physical buildings. Yes, we have a brand and we want things to look this way, but our brand really is our people. And supporting them and encouraging them and empowering them is the best way for us to show who we are as a team and as a company.
So that's only possible if your focus is not doing that just once a year or when it's Employee Appreciation Week, but this is an everyday activity for you. So how do you embrace the everyday moments?
Well, and that's where Achievers comes in handy. So not only is it something that our culture already has that recognition piece tied to it, where we're recognizing each other. But now, I don't need to wait until I get back to my laptop to remember and write this. I can do it right now on my phone, take it with me wherever I go. And we have our recognitions tied to our company values, which is handy, but we also have one that's just a general heartfelt gratitude. So our values spell the acronym HEART, so humble, empowered, ambitious, resilient, transparent, that spells heart. And so we have heartfelt gratitude. So even if you want to say just that simple thankful, that you type it right into Achievers and send it out. And then we start our meetings. So we have monthly all-company calls, and our CEO picks out a couple of recognitions that have been submitted in our platform and reads them out loud and says, this was an amazing customer experience, or this was one of our teammates supporting another teammate, to highlight the great things that are happening that we're seeing, and maybe, we don't always comment on, but when we take that minute to comment and somebody goes, wow, that felt really good that you saw and appreciated me, then they want to turn around and do the same for one of their colleagues. It feeds itself. It feeds each other.
I love that you mentioned that, because I think it illustrates two things. One, in the CEO sharing, it models the right behavior. It sends a signal of what they think good or great might look like, but also the recognition doesn't have to live on a platform. You're bringing it into how people work.
Exactly. And our CEO is fabulous. Marty makes a point of making some kind of commentary after he reads the recognition and then says, hey, this was great because, or I'm so grateful that you did this or that. But he himself sets a standard for our recognition as well, not just by reading things out, but he handwrites birthday cards to all 650 odd employees that we have. And those are important because when you walk around our branches and our offices, you see those cards on people's desks. So that sets a standard level. If the CEO has the time to send a birthday card, and he's not just signing Marty, he's writing a note and saying something, hey, thanks, great work that you're doing with this project or that project or whatever it is. If he's got the time to do it, we all have the time to do it. And taking that time and recognizing those little day-to-day tasks that we're repeatedly doing well, or maybe we've done something that's extraordinary and above and beyond, giving that shout out. It really, it's one of those things that puts a smile on your face, and you're proud of the work that you do and the people that you work for.
All our research shows that the more frequently someone is recognized, the better they feel, the better they perform. But almost as important as frequency is meaning, And so I love that Marty is taking the time to show people the impact they're having in their role.
Absolutely. And, when you're working for somebody who's paying attention to those little things and treating you like you're not just a number and that you're trying to meet these goals, but you're a person who he values, doesn't matter where you are in the company, that makes you work that much harder. It really does. It just energizes you in a way that here's a monetary bonus. That's nice. But if it's, if it meant nothing to you and it's just transactional.
That's right.
Right. That's funny that came out that way. So that's a big focus on ours too. Banks are transactional.
Yep.
You come in, you do this, you do that. We're trying to build beyond that. We want the relationship with our customers. We don't want just that transactional piece. Yes, we have digital banking options. Yes, we have, different ways for you to make your life easier. But we want to be with you on the relationship. Not everything can be done as a simple transaction.
That's right.
Sometimes you got to come in and discuss things. Or as you're building your future or planning for retirement or whatever it is, those are conversations you need to have, and you should have a relationship with your banker to do that. So, if we're building the culture where that's the way we treat each other, then we're going to be able to do the same for our customers.
One of your other ambitions around your culture is around building a culture of connection. And I want to know what that means and how it plays out.
So you're right. Simple, connected, trusted is one of our key focuses. And that's how can we make this simpler for you? That's obvious. The connected is being connected to the community and to the people that we're serving. So that's understanding what their needs are and meeting them there. So, so we live in rural communities. One of our branches is in a Mennonite community. We actually have a parking space for the horse and buggy, which is absolutely amazing. So that's paying attention. We're meeting our customers at their needs. What do you need? And that's products and services too. So taking that feedback from them is really important, and meeting them and connecting with them on that human level, and getting out in the community and volunteering or joining parades or events that happen in our towns. Then we're seeing what they need and where they're involved, what they're doing, and how we can support that.
You talked about connecting your recognition to your 5 values. What else do you connect recognition to?
We are about to launch some new modules. We do a lot of work out in our community, and right now we do some recognitions for on a quarterly basis. Anybody who's volunteered in a quarter gets thrown into, I must do a big spinning wheel.
I love it.
Because that's always so much more fun to watch the spinning wheel, right? So, and those, the volunteer of the quarter is chosen that way, and then they get to choose a charity of their choice, and 5 Star makes a donation for them. And this past year, we've started what we're calling the super volunteers. Anyone who's volunteered for more than 100 hours also gets to have a donation made in their name, and I'm going to find a way to incorporate it in our Achievers platform too, so that can get listed as one of their achievements. So again, that emphasizes their profile. Okay, this person has, these recognitions, and now they have these achievements, and just it's showing them well-rounded instead of just little snippets. You're getting the whole picture.
I love that. You were talking about Marty, your CEO. Our CEO, Scott Landers, at our kickoff this year, our company kickoff, shared a bit of a poem from a baseball Hall of Famer, Billy Williams. When he went into the Hall of Fame, he shared this poem: good, better, best, never let it rest until the good is better and the better is best. And I love that poem because I think in some ways it really describes the on switch that is appreciation at scale. So how does this come to life for you in ensuring that every month, every day, every week, that your employees are feeling appreciated in that way?
Well, you guys make it easy. You're always finding new different ways for us to. So maybe in March, we're celebrating how lucky it is to have this person as a coworker or something like that. So you give us fun, different, creative ways to make recognition special this month or this week or whatever. We did just run one that we also ran a couple of years ago during the Olympics. So where you can get a heart of gold,
I love that.
which was a lot of fun. And then of course each one of the people who were recognized, I sent one of those lovely little plastic gold medals.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
And a little chocolate heart, because
it.
we have a big inner office, exchange. And so then you're seeing these little gold medals hanging on people's, whether they're wearing it around their neck or they hang it on their cubes or something like that. So finding fun little unique things, whether it's tied to what's going on, like an event like the Olympics, or something to do in July, 4th of July, I don't know. But finding fun ways to make people laugh and smile as they're sending recognitions to each other too is a way to keep it going. Keep it from being not necessarily stale, because I don't think recognition gets stale, but if you feel like you're saying the same thing over and over, giving them a new way to phrase what they want to say, like, hey, great job. There's never anything wrong with a high five. That's one of those universal things.
Yeah.
You don't have to, you can be a 2-year-old kid. You can be, somebody who doesn't speak the same language as somebody else. High five says everything you need to.
How did the program catch fire, so to speak, in the first place? Like, was there a particular, group of branches or business units or a particular demographic where it really caught on first?
Well, I think there's definitely super users, the people that you see that are jumping on all the time and submitting recognitions, which is great. And then there's the people who maybe, I'm going to make sure that I put a recognition in today or something like that. What worked really well for us, we had a great recognition culture when I started a couple of years ago. But right after I started, we also did a refresh of our values. And then we launched the Achievers platform a couple months after that. So them tying together, we're focusing our culture on our values again. And here's a nice new fancy platform that's easy to use for us to share that out. But yeah, those super users where they're submitting a bunch of times. What else is really helpful is the data that we're getting from Achievers.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that.
That was something that we weren't getting from our recognition platform before. So this is now then I can share it with our team leaders, or they can go in and see it themselves in the manager focus and see who's submitting what and, who's getting recognition and saying, okay, this is, where else can we expand this? And maybe I need to put some time on my calendar to make sure that I'm spinning recognitions as well.
So what are some of the things from a data perspective that you're paying attention to? Are you paying attention to, certainly the distribution of your values or individual contributors and managers? Is it engagement scores? What are some of the things? So, how do you keep score?
Well, that's a good thing. So we're definitely seeing how many recognitions are getting sent, who's sending the recognitions, and it'll be interesting to see how our engagement scores. We do the Great Place to Work survey, which is fabulous, and our engagement scores are good. But there's always room for improvement.
Always, yeah.
And as our platform is getting used more, I've seen our engagement scores also increase. As we get that feedback too, because that's, I think, the best part of those surveys is people saying, hey, why don't we do this? And you go, well, why don't we do this? We got the feedback that our annual awards that are tied to our values, people were feeling that those were only meant for senior leaders. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that that's how they were being seen. Let's change that. And we're going to be putting our nominations process in Achievers. I can't wait to see how that goes. And where people will realize they get to help us make the decision. You know what? They're telling us the stories that we're not hearing. And then we'll get to have the big splash afterwards as we announce who the winners are. How fabulous is that?
I bet it will feel more for the people by the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is what it always was. It's tough when you're on this side of it. I know what it is. I know what it's meant to do. I'm excited about it. I'm sharing, hey, make sure you're doing this and this. And then somebody says, oh, I thought that was just for... Well, that was not the message I was giving, but okay, I need to change how I'm doing it. Thank you for that feedback.
Yeah.
Knowing that we're listening to them makes a difference in that recognition culture too. All right, if you're hearing what I'm saying, then did you see this too? Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you for letting me know. Let's do something with that, or let's celebrate that too, because that was a huge win, or maybe a small win.
Yeah.
Small wins are great.
Absolutely. I think it's a scary thing to ask people what they think, because then you have to deliver.
Yes.
You really do. But I think we're leaving this era of one size fits all for an era of hyper personalization. And we did a study on annual awards, and the sentiment coming back from the employees we studied was that basically annual programs are better than nothing, but it's worse than average. It's usually the same people who are awarded over and over again. And when we ask employees, what would you prefer? Across the board, employees said, I want more frequent acknowledgement of the impact that I'm having in my role. So I love that you're taking the time, you're creating space to not just ask the question, but take action.
Yes. Well, what's the point of the survey if you're not going to do something with the feedback that you get?
It's bad manners.
It's
totally bad manners.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. And, that intrigues me a lot, that people, the annual awards is not something that they're seeking out, that they would rather have more frequent recognition. I'm going to have to really think about how we can maybe expand that annual award, make it a more frequent thing. I understand, part of the reason that we want to do it as an annual thing, you want to make it that much more of an emphasis and make it feel special. But maybe there's something else. Maybe there's quarterly awards, or
There might be.
See, now you got my brain going.
Well, we're seeing that with a lot of customers where they're challenging the status quo. Just because something has been working for years and years and years does not mean it's not ripe for improvement. To your point. There must be great. I feel that in some ways you are like the chief storyteller for the organization because you're in the community and you see up close the impact that recognition has. Are there stories that are favorites of yours of how individuals from your organization are showing up for people in the community?
Yes. So one of the things that our team gets recognized for is dealing with fraud.
Oh.
Unfortunately, fraud is rampant, and it's a monetary, and because we know our customers, we can sense when something's not right, or we could really, really tell when something's not right. And we've given so much training. These are things to look for. This is things to check for this, check for that. So when our customer comes in and they're acting strange and they're saying, we want to take a big withdrawal, and you're like, telling our customers no is not easy. But the fact that we are able to empower our team to say, you're doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, even if it's hard. Seeing so many stories of customers that were saved $14,000 that they were rescuing their grandson or something like that because we stopped and we said no. When we recognize our teams for doing that, the next person who is suspicious of something feels a little bit more empowered to say something's not right.
Yes, yeah.
Because we're recognizing it. We're saying, this was amazing. Thank you for speaking up. So then the next person says, something doesn't seem right to me about this. Can we check it?
Yeah.
And even if it's right, at least they said, it didn't feel right. I didn't like this. I want to make sure it's okay. But if we're not recognizing that, are they going to hesitate that much more?
I think you're exactly right. I think one of the misunderstood things about the utility of recognition is that it's a sense maker. You know, when people are recognized frequently, they do feel better, they do perform better, but it sends very clear signals to people about what behaviors are worth repeating.
Yes.
And so you take something like fraud, which is material to your customers and to your organization, that can send a signal, recognition can send a signal about how to handle a particular situation. We have a oldie but a goodie of a customer from years ago was a story about a customer who had gone into a bank branch and unfortunately had a heart attack.
Oh dear.
And the teller jumped over the wicket and revived them. And it was this phenomenal story that was told through their recognition program. And, you know, it's a heroic story. We should use recognition for that. But in the strictest sense, it's not a repeatable behavior. Like no other employee is going to say, tomorrow's the day I give mouth to mouth to one of our customers.
Let's hope you don't have to.
That's right, exactly. But the repeatable story is, you know, a story of a teller who, when they come back from lunch, instead of going right behind the wicket, they stop in line and they introduce themselves to two customers.
Yes.
Any other employee seeing that could say, oh, that's something that I could do tomorrow. I just never thought of it before.
Exactly.
So it's the sense making. I think that's so critical.
There's a lot of the recognitions that we have are for little things too.
I love that.
So our IT team, we have an amazing IT team. And there's the guys who are like in the office always running around doing things, fixing those dumb little, like, why isn't this working? I've logged in 47 times. What's wrong? Those guys who are constantly answering those calls, we couldn't function without them.
Yeah, that's right.
And if we don't say, thank you for taking the 30 seconds to talk me off of the ledge and log me into my laptop.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, allow me to do a commercial here.
Oh, please.
Matt Endicott. I see you and I thank you. Matt runs IT for us. So that's a good reminder.
Doug and Salim, you and Brian, you know you're there. You know I love you. I couldn't function without you guys. Thank you. So there we go.
So you and I could speak for days and days and days. I'm going to bring our time to an end, though, with a bit of a wild card. And so I have these cards here, and I'm going to ask you to pick a card. There's a full deck to follow.
Okay, well, I'm gonna as I'm taking it, I'm making a spill. Let's find out what the question is. So what's
the question?
What helps you reset after a rough day? Now, that's a great question. First of all, my dog, Finnegan, is...
Finnegan.
You know, dogs love you no matter what. Whether you're in your PJs, whether you have showered, whether you look gorgeous, whether you were to the mailbox, or whether you were gone for 5 days. They are so happy. And, you know, so if you're not reset by that... But recognition is another one. So I'll tell you, we do a week of volunteering that I organize for all of our 600 plus employees at all 53 of our locations. It's a crazy week for me, and I'm usually just completely wiped by the end of that week. When I start getting the emails saying, this organization that you sent us to was absolutely amazing and we loved it. Or I get the emails from the organization saying, your team of volunteers was amazing. We got so much done. We are so grateful to you. It makes my complete and utter exhaustion so worth it.
Incredible.
So it is. I wish it's one of those things you wish you could bottle and give to people. But then you realize, you know what? Maybe I just send a recognition and say thank you and share that feeling.
I love that. Well, this is the last thing we have to do, which is exchange glasses.
Yes, so, and see. Wow, I don't know if we've got the same vision.
Doubtful.
Hey, you know what?
It's actually not bad.
I was just thinking
I think this is probably a strong look for me.
I like it. Do you know what's special about those glasses?
What is?
They glow in the dark.
Really?
Yes, they do.
We can't prove it on a podcast, but maybe
no,
next
but
time.
they do. They're fabulous. These slide a little bit, but I feel like I'm filling some really big shoes wearing these glasses.
Well, there you have it. I want to thank you so much for your time.
I'm so grateful to be here.
Thank you. And I want to thank all of you for joining us on another episode of A-Listed. Welcome back to A-Listed. I've actually just been handed this by our human resources team and our legal team, and I've been encouraged that since this is a show about appreciation, to appreciate the people that help make this show possible.
Do we have to?
So I really want to thank Dave Thorpe and Nick Tutzel for making this show happen, and thanks, guys.
You're very welcome.
Is that it? Can we go now?
No, we have to keep going. Anyway, speaking on the brighter side, you missed an amazing conversation, I think, with the wonderful Frauke from 5 Star Bank. Little low on personality, but some very, very interesting things to say during the course of our conversation. What were some of the highlights for you, Emma?
I did miss it, but I did get to watch it back. So first highlight, cool glasses.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great energy.
Oh, her glasses.
Yes. Sorry, was I not clear on that?
Okay, yeah.
What I liked about that conversation was the framing of recognition as a risk management tool, not just a people tool. We often think about recognition as encouraging good things and positive and all of those great feelings that come along with recognition. But if we can actually point it at the great behaviors that align to risk management, then you can change the culture. So that story around how they used recognition around fraud was absolute gold. I think that was incredible. What did you take away from the conversation? You were there in person.
Yeah, well, 2 good-looking geniuses, clearly.
Obviously.
But I do think that, their program caught fire in the best way possible really early on. And they found that individual contributors and managers were recognizing each other meaningfully monthly. But they didn't stop there. They searched around for other aspects, not only of their employee experience, but also the experience they want their customers to have in the communities where they live and serve. And they thought, what else can we direct this great feeling, this great program towards? The fraud story is one example of that. And I think that's a best practice, is that when you really the best companies understand that appreciation is not just this system for scaling smiles. It's really a core system of influence, so that your employees, your teams, your company can grow. That was a big takeaway for me.
That's it. And it was clear that the great experience that employers are having has a ripple effect on the community as well. Is that I think as people inside corporations, we have a responsibility to positively impact the communities around us. And that was clear at 5 Star as well.
That's exactly right. Well, Emma, I want to thank you for your time, Frauke for joining us on the show, and for all of you for joining us for another episode of A-Listed, the show where we explore the stories and the science of appreciation at work. And because our legal team has advised, again, I want to thank Dave and Nick. Great work, guys. You can subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. See you next time.